To start off, we're envisioning today being very much a framing conversation, talking about a number of philosophic topics related to hybrid learning and the direction of learning in general. The next step, now set your list aside for a second. We're going to put you into breakout rooms, and in your breakout room, you're going to pick one person to share their list first. That person is going to go through their list, and for every word or phrase that they've identified, you'll look across the group and see if it's a word or phrase that everyone has on their list.
This is Toy. Tom and I had similar perspectives. Angela, a slightly different perspective, but we all understood how each other was kind of coming based on our experiences and things. So as far as the list, we've come up with blended, learner-centered, balanced, andragogy, stimulating, flexible, remote, accommodating, constructive, motivating, suitable.
So for me, hybrid learning is characterized by what's depicted here on the screen, right? We have an instructor, facilitator, who is leading a session with people in front of him or her. And at the same time, there's also people who are doing the same work or following that work in a distributed fashion, right, at a remote location. So just wanted to open up the mic and the chat to all of you. What is your definition? What are the key concepts that you need to think about or that you're employing today that would define how you're looking at hybrid learning?
One of the aspects that we think about hybrid learning at IMSA is learner location. So in our case, we have learners who are either at home or in the res hall or in the main building. So learner location is one facet.
So what problems are we trying to solve with hybrid learning that other modalities can't address as well?
I mentioned it in chat before, we struggle with the communication parity, right? As much as you try to avoid it, the people in a group together have side conversations and things like that, that the people remotely can as easily participate in. So hybrid, as we're defining it, is something we actually like to avoid when we can. We can't always because of the reason I just gave. But it's rarely as good an experience for the people that are remotely in the classroom as it is for the people that are co-located.
Yeah, what's changing or needs to change about the way we apply adult learning theory today?
I think it's company organizational specific. So we aren't geographically dispersed across the country or across a global, multinational. So the benefit of having people somewhat in the region has led us to say that it is very difficult to create the same learning experience, to Jill's point around just the outcomes, the opportunity to have discussion, the facilitation when you have some people that are virtually logging in and some people who are in the room. And so I think a lot about the user or the learner experience around how do we create something that is similar, and it's very difficult to do when you have multi modes going on at the same time.
Yeah, when you think about the future of work, what are the biggest changes you anticipate for learning in the next 5 years?
I think in all the many years I've been involved in learning and development, time has always been one, Michael, that has come up. You always hear it. I don't have enough time. I don't have time. And I think that we have to figure out more creative ways of making sure that each person sees the value in what they're getting. Because if they see the value, then they tend to somehow have time. And that I think is a challenge that's going to continue, especially because now with virtual, it's anytime, any place, any this, any that. And how do you make sure that they feel they're getting value out of what you're calling learning, that they see it as something that's going to give them an edge, it's going to increase their skills, it's going to help their team. How do you make sure you do that? So some of it, I think, is marketing. And some of it is making sure you actually talk to those people who keep saying they don't have time and try to figure out what it is that would be that value for them.
Absolutely rings true. We use a term called Monday morning impact.